So friends, in this session we'll see what is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Inheriting multiple classes into a single class is called as multiple inheritance. Inheriting multiple classes into a single class is called as a multiple inheritance. Okay, how it will be means it will be like this. Assume as a class as class C1 and class C2 and class C3, C1 comma C2. So two classes we are giving to class 3. This is called as single inheritance. This is the syntax of the single inheritance. Okay, there are two classes, class C1 and C2. For class C3 we are giving class C1 and C2. Yes, this is called as multiple inheritance. And can we implement multiple inheritance in C#.NET? Yes, but not possible by using classes, which is possible with the help of interfaces. We can implement multiple inheritance in C#.NET, but it is not possible by using inheritance concept. It is possible with the help of the interfaces. Okay, this is called as multiple inheritance. So inheriting multiple classes into a single class is called as multiple inheritance. This multiple inheritance can be achieved by interface concept in C#.NET. Okay, so class C1 and C2 can be given to class C3 here. So only multiple inheritance can be done with the help of interfaces concept. This is important concept in WCF. In C#.NET, interface concepts will be there. Okay, interface concept in C#.NET. And next is hybrid inheritance. This is third type of inheritance, multiple inheritance. We have seen up to now multi-level inheritance, and now it is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance concept in C#.NET is possible with the help of interface concepts. Total WCF is based on this interface concept only. Next is hybrid inheritance. A combination of two inheritance is nothing but called as hybrid inheritance. Fourth one, which is called as hybrid inheritance. What is hybrid inheritance means? Combination of any two interfaces. Any two inheritance combination is called as hybrid inheritance. Combination of any two inheritance concepts is called as hybrid inheritance. This is hybrid inheritance. And fifth one is hierarchical inheritance. Inheriting single class into multiple classes is called as hierarchical inheritance. Okay, inheriting single class into multiple classes is called as hierarchical inheritance. The syntax will be like this. Assume class C1. Okay, and there is a class C2. We are giving C1 class to class C1, and then class C3 we are giving again class C1 to class C3. This is called as hierarchical inheritance. So this is called as hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance is nothing but inheriting single class. We are giving class C1 to multiple classes here, C2 and C3 class. We are giving class C1. This is called as hierarchical inheritance. Okay. So what is the advantages? Main advantages of this inheritance is the reusability of the code. We will discuss the advantage. What is the advantage of inheritance means? Main advantage is nothing but reusability. Reusability of the code. Because of inheritance, a method which is defined in the superclass can be accessed by derived classes. That is, if any method is derived here in C1 class, these derived classes C2 and C3 also can use that method without defining that method again here in the C2. Just we'll create the object here and directly use that method of class C1. That is the advantage of reusability. So reusability of code is the main advantage of inheritance. Okay, that means if any object is created in class, that is, if any method is created in class C1 here, class C1, if any method is created in class C1, assume any method is created here, like public void display, some method is created, assume any method is created in this class, inside this class. Okay, this method can be directly called here. Okay, directly can be used here. This method can be directly used here. We can directly call this display method here. That is the advantage of inheritance. So code reusability is less. Again, we need not to define a whole method here. Just directly we can call this display method here, which is defined in class C1. Okay, that is the advantage of inheritance. So reusability of the code, main advantage, reusability of code. That is the advantage of inheritance. And next thing is polymorphism. Polymorphism is a very important concept. Implementing multiple functionalities with the same name can be called as polymorphism. That means we can implement multiple functionalities. Implementing multiple functionalities with the same name. That means if a method is there, we can implement multiple functionalities with the same method. Assume a method is there in a class, we can implement multiple functionalities with the same method. That is called as polymorphism. Or polymorphism means one, but it acts as many forms. We can also call as polymorphism as it means only one. It means only one, but acts in many forms. There is only a single object, but the behavior will be dual for that object. So there are many forms for a single object. It means only one, but it acts in many forms. That is the meaning of polymorphism. Okay, and main definition is, we can give the definition for this like this. For polymorphism, I am telling, implementing multiple methods with same name. That is, method names are same, but behavior of that methods is different. Okay, there are same methods. Name of the methods is same in different classes, but behavior is different. Different classes are in the same class. You may have multiple methods with the same name, but behavior of that methods is different. Behavior is different. That is, same method name, method name will be same, but it acts as different, but it serves us for different purposes. Okay, there are two types of polymorphism basically. One is static polymorphism, second one is dynamic polymorphism. These are the two polymorphisms available in C#.NET. Okay, static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. What is static polymorphism means? I'll tell you. In static polymorphism, a method will bind at compile time and it will execute at the compile time itself. Compile time polymorphism, we are achieving this static polymorphism in compile time polymorphism. That means at the compile time only a method will be binded. Okay, if you bind a method in the compile time only, if we bind a method in the, that means at the time of writing the program only, compile time, if we bind a method in the compile time, it is called as static polymorphism. Okay, static polymorphism. If we bind that method in compile time, it is called as static polymorphism. or else compile time polymorphism can be achieved with the help of function overloading. How can this static polymorphism be achieved is, it can be achieved with function overloading. So by using function overloading we can achieve the static polymorphism. Remember that. I will discuss what is this function overloading and everything. Method name will be same, but that method acts in a different ways. That is called as polymorphism. And what is dynamic polymorphism means? In dynamic polymorphism, a method is bind at runtime while at the execution time actually. Okay? If you bind a method at runtime, that is nothing but at the execution time. Okay? At execution time. This is called as dynamic polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism can be achieved by function overriding. Okay? It can be achieved by function overriding. We will see what is this function overloading and function overriding. Okay? So when we will go for polymorphism means, actually whenever we want to implement multiple methods with the same name in a single class or a combination of base and derived class, we will go for polymorphism. So when we will achieve this means, when we will go for polymorphism means, whenever we want to use same method, whenever we want to use multiple methods, it's multiple methods with the same name in a single class. With same name in single class, we'll go for this polymorphism. And whenever we want to use a combination of based and derived classes, based and derived classes, we also go for this polymorphism. These are the two reasons. Whenever we want to use multiple methods within the same name in a single class, we will go for polymorphism. And whenever we want to use the combination of based and derived classes, we will go for this polymorphism. So I have discussed this function overloading and function overriding. We will see what is this function overloading and function overriding in detail now. Okay? So if you do function overloading, nothing but you are doing static polymorphism. Okay? Function overriding. We will see what it is now. Implementing multiple methods with the same name but with different signature. Implementing multiple methods, there are multiple methods inside a class but with the same name. Implementing multiple methods with the same name but with different signature. That is the importance. Different but with different signature. You know the meaning of signature, I hope so. The parameters which we pass. Okay? Signature in a single class or a combination of based and derived classes. We have seen this in inheritance, how to give a base class for inheritance class to inheritance method. We have seen the base class, how we have used it, using the base keyword there. In a single class or a combination of base and derived classes. That's it. Nothing but with inheritance, it is telling with inheritance. This line is telling with inheritance. So implementing function overriding means, how can we implement this means, we can use multiple methods with the same name but with different signature. That means parameters will change, order of the parameters will change, and type of the parameters might change. Okay? In a single class or in a combination of based and derived classes. That means multiple classes might be there. Okay? This is called as function. This is function overloading actually. Function overloading. It's not overriding, overloading. Okay, function overloading. So implementing multiple methods with the same name but different signature. Signature means type of the parameters might change, order of the parameters might change, and number of parameters might also change in a single class or a combination of based and derived classes. This line means that there might be multiple classes. Okay. So what do you mean by signature means? We have already seen this signature. I explained in previous sessions for you what is a signature. Number one is differentiating the number of parameters, that is how many parameters are there within that method. Second one is type of parameters, differentiating between the type of parameters. Okay. And third one is order of parameters. This is what I am telling, order of parameters. So differentiating between the number of parameters, type of parameters, and order of parameters, this is called as signature. This is called as signature. Signature consists of parameters, nothing but. Okay. So number of parameters, type of parameters might change, and order of parameters might change. We will see this example. So take a class now. I want to take a class calculate. I am putting a class calculate. This is an example for function overloading. Okay. So I am defining a method here, public void this is the parameters or signature which I am telling. You can also call it as arguments. You need to write the method name. I am storing this here result variable a plus b. Fine. Now just I am printing that value of result, console dot write line. The result is addition, result is plus res variable. Fine. Now I am taking another method in calculate. Okay. So it is consisting two parameters here, a and b, both are integer types. Now public void same method name I want same. This is called function overloading. So I am taking the same method name, int a comma int b comma int c. See the type of order of parameters, number of parameters are changing now. I am taking three parameters now. Int res equal to a plus b plus c. Fine. A plus b plus c. Now console dot write line addition result is plus again res only. Fine. So there are three parameters here, int a, int b, int c, with the same methods. There are two methods with the same name. This is called as function overloading. There are two parameters here. Here I am taking three parameters. Number of parameters have changed, and now I am taking another method with the same name, public void add third method. I am changing the data types of the parameter. You can observe that data types I am changing. That is called as types of parameters. Storing it in double res equal to a plus b. sol not right len addition fine. Okay, now these three. Okay, there are three methods, 1, 2 and 3. Three methods are there with different parameters. See here, different parameters a and b and different parameters here. Number of parameters are changed here. This is signature. Number of parameters in the signature has changed now, and data types of the parameters have changed now. That is called as what we call it as function overloading with the same method name, function overloading. Okay, fine. Now come and pass the values in your program class where main method is there. You need to create the object for that class, then only that method will be called. Calculate cal equal to new calculate, fine. So now I'll pass the values. It's asking to pass the double values. Okay, there are three. If you observe, see, it is showing three methods for you. Double a comma b, int a comma b. You can pass three values here. If you observe that intelligence there, it is coming down 1, 2, 1 of 3 methods are there. Void calculate dot add double a comma b, and another method void calculate dot add int a comma int b, int a comma int bc. So three methods are there. You can pass the values. For first one I am passing now as 10.50 comma 20.50. Fine. Again cal dot add. For second method I want to pass now int a. Fine. 5 comma 10. Again cal dot add. For third method there are three values, 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, that's good. Now three values. Okay, for three methods I am passing the values now. If you execute the program now, three values will be displayed for the user. Three methods will be executed. Three methods with the same name will be executed. Okay, so check it, execute it, press F5. You need to get three values now. See, addition result is 31. It is displaying the double value, first one, and second one is two parameters are there. It is calculating that, and third method is called. That's it. Addition result is three methods have been called now. This is how we will do the function overloading with the same name. You can observe three methods are having the same name add with, but type of the parameters have changed. That is, data types of the parameters have changed, and this order of the parameters also you can change if you want. That is, int c you can put, and int b, int a you can put like that, and number of parameters. If you observe number of parameters, here two parameters are there, here three parameters are there. That is called as function overloading. So this is function overloading actually. So function overloading mainly depends on three things: number of parameters, type of parameters, and order of parameters. That's how we achieve the function overloading actually. So this is the example for function overloading. This is a very important concept in polymorphism actually. And second one is function overriding. We have discussed two methods actually, function overloading and function overriding. Fine. Now we have discussed about function overloading. We have seen the function overloading, how it will be. Nothing but a static polymorphism. Okay, static polymorphism. We have achieved the static polymorphism by using function overriding concept. Now dynamic polymorphism, if you want to achieve, you need to give function overriding. We will see what is this function overriding is. So let's check what is function overriding. What is function overriding means we can have multiple methods with the same name, same signature in a combination of based and derived classes. That means multiple classes. While overriding for base class method, we should use virtual keyword for base class method. That means the super class we need to use a virtual keyword, and for derived class we should use override keyword. That is the difference. So what is the definition for this is having, we can have multiple methods here also with the same name, same signature, same name, same signature. Having the same signature is somewhat difficult. Okay, we can have multiple methods with same name, same signature in a combination of single class or a multiple class. In a combination of base, we can also call as base and derived classes. That means multiple classes, nothing but. And while overriding for base class, that is for super class, while overriding for base class or super class, we should use virtual keyword. Only thing we need to use is virtual keyword. And for derived class or subclass, we should use override keyword. That's it. That is the difference. So we can have the multiple methods with the same name and same signature. That is the importance. Same name you can have in previous also, overloading also we have the same name, but method name is same, but having the same signature is very important. Okay, only the thing is we need to use base class. For base class or super class we need to use a virtual keyword, whereas for a derived class we need to use an override keyword. That is the importance. Okay, let us see how we can achieve this function overriding. Okay, mainly this function overriding is dependent upon the inheritance concept. You can say that this function overriding is mainly dependent on inheritance concept. Let us see an example for function overriding. No, okay, you'll see a quick example how to do this function overriding actually. Okay, go to your Visual Studio. So there was a class called as calculate. Okay, fine. Now take a class BC. I am defining a class and I am taking a method here, public void display. This is an example for function overriding. Console dot write line BC is calling. I'll put a message like BC is calling. Okay, fine. Now come out of the class here, class DC and BC. Nothing but I am giving the BC class to DC class. I am inheriting the class BC to DC. Okay, now I will display a message like I told you that see public, I'll tell you public void, put a same method name. I told you same method can be used. Okay, put it as console dot write line DC is calling here. DC display method is calling, BC display method is calling. So DC display is calling. You can put it as BC display is calling. Nothing but to achieve function overriding, I told you that for the base class you need to use a virtual keyword. Public you can use here virtual, and for the derived class DC, here for the method we need to use a override keyword. It's mandatory. then only function overriding is possible. Okay, now come to the program class and call the BC class. Okay, call the BC class now. Remove all this. Create an object for BC class. That is for the first class. For the super class, we need to create the object BC obj is equal to new BC. Fine. Now BC dot obj dot display. So compile it and check it. What happens now? Check it, what happens. BC display is calling. So what is happening here is override method is hiding the virtual method. Override method only is called and the virtual method is hidden here. When we compile this program, compiler will bind the method based on the reference variable type. According to that, obj is reference variable for BC class. Due to that reason, here BC method is calling. Obj is the reference variable. We have created obj as a reference variable for BC class only. What happens is that reference variable obj will be having BC class methods. Okay, and this will bind to the display method of BC class. Like it will, BC class will be binded here. When we run the above program, because of new DC, it will bind to DC class display. Again, it will bind to DC class display. Here we have to identify that over method is hiding the virtual method. Here we have to identify that overriding method. This overriding method is hiding the virtual method. Overriding method is hiding the virtual method. So we are getting the output as BC display is calling. We have to clear the class for just a minute. BC, okay, fine. BC, DC, virtual and override. We have given two methods, virtual and override.